The night was loud with thunder, the kind that rattles the bones and reminds people of everything they've lost. Rain fell in sheets, pounding the empty streets, turning every light into a blurred smear of gold. Most people were indoors, safe, warm, dry. But on that lonely stretch of road outside the city, a small figure sat huddled against a lamppost, her thin jacket soaked through, her crutches lying beside her. Ethan Cole almost didn't see her. He was driving home from another business dinner, the kind where people laughed too loud and spoke too little of what mattered. His wipers struggled against the storm, and he cursed quietly when his headlights caught the shape of a person on the sidewalk. He slowed. For a moment, he hesitated. He always hesitated. Ever since his wife died 2 years ago, he had learned to keep his distance from the world. People saw the polished billionaire CEO, the man who had it all. They didn't see the widower who came home to a quiet mansion echoing with the ghost of laughter that used to be his sons and wife's. But something, perhaps the memory of his wife's compassion, made him pull over. He opened the door, rain instantly soaking his suit. "Hey," he called over the storm. "Are you okay?" The girl flinched at the sound of his voice. Her eyes were wide, her lips trembling. She looked about 14, maybe 15. Her hair clung to her cheeks, and her clothes were too thin for the weather. I'm fine," she stammered, clutching her knees. But she wasn't. She was shaking so hard her teeth chattered. Ethan crouched down, ignoring the rain. "You're freezing. Come with me." She looked at him like she didn't believe him. "You don't even know me." He gave a small, gentle smile, the kind his wife used to give their son when he was scared. Maybe not, but no one should be alone in the rain. That night was the start of something neither of them could have imagined. Her name was Lily, 16 years old. She had been abandoned by her stepfather after her mother died. She had mild cerebral palsy, which made walking difficult and painful at times. She had nowhere to go, no family, no home, no one who cared if she made it through the night. Ethan listened as she spoke, sitting at the edge of his grand marble kitchen table, wrapped in one of his son's old blankets. She tried to sound brave, but her voice cracked halfway through her story. "I didn't want to be a burden," she whispered. He said people like me just slow others down." Ethan's hands clenched around his coffee mug. He'd spent years surrounded by the kind of people who measured worth in dollars, not kindness. But hearing those words from a child, one who'd been cast aside, tore something open in him. "You're not a burden, Lily," he said quietly. "You're safe here, at least for tonight." But, for tonight, turned into a week, then 2, then more. Ethan's son, Noah, was 10 years old, bright, curious, and still learning how to live without his mother. When Lily first arrived, he was shy, hiding behind his father's legs, peeking curiously at the girl who walked with crutches. "Is she going to stay with us?" he asked that night in a whisper. Ethan hesitated. "Just for a little while, buddy. Until she figures things out." But Noah, with the innocence only a child can have, simply nodded. "Okay, then we should make her pancakes. Mom always said pancakes make people happy." And that was that. The first challenge came quickly. Lily was kind, gentle, and smart, but she carried the weight of shame that had been planted in her by years of cruelty. She refused to sit at the same table during meals, often retreating to her room, insisting she didn't belong. Ethan tried to bridge the distance with patience, but one night he found her in tears, staring out the window. "Why are you so kind to me?" she asked softly. "You don't owe me anything." Ethan sighed. "Kindness doesn't need a reason, Lily. And maybe, I need this as much as you do." She frowned. "Need what?" He smiled faintly. "A reason to feel human again." As the months passed, something beautiful began to bloom in that quiet house. Lily helped Noah with his homework. In return, he helped her with her therapy exercises. They laughed together, shared stories, and even started baking on weekends, a tradition that quickly became sacred. Ethan watched from the sidelines, a lump always rising in his throat. For the first time since his wife's passing, the house felt alive again. But life, as it often does, tested them again. One afternoon, Lily was walking home from physical therapy when a group of teens from the neighborhood cornered her. They mocked her limp, called her names, and one of them snatched her crutch, waving it around like a trophy. She tried to fight back, but her balance gave out, and she fell into the mud. When Ethan arrived, after receiving a frantic call from the therapy center, he found her sitting on the curb, silent, eyes red from crying. He knelt beside her, his heart breaking. "Lily," She turned to him, voice trembling. They're right, I don't belong anywhere, not with them, not even here. Ethan's voice was steady but fierce. Don't ever say that again. You belong with us. You belong with people who see your heart, not your struggle. He took her hand gently, helping her up, and said the same words that had begun their story, come with me. That night, Lily didn't sleep. But in the morning, she asked Ethan something that surprised him. Can you teach me how to be strong? He smiled. You already are. No, she said, shaking her head. I mean strong like you. You fight for people. That day marked the beginning of Lily's transformation. Over the next year, Ethan helped her enroll in an adaptive sports program and a creative writing class. She started writing about her life, her pain, her courage, her hope. Her first essay, titled, Come With Me, was about the night Ethan found her. It won a national youth competition, and she was invited to speak on stage. Ethan and Noah sat in the front row. Lily, wearing a simple white dress, trembled slightly as she walked to the microphone. The spotlight hit her face, and for a moment she looked terrified. Then she saw them, Ethan's steady, proud gaze and Noah's eager thumbs up, and she found her voice. People often ask me who saved me that night, she began. But the truth is, he didn't just save me. He showed me that I could save myself. That broken doesn't mean unworthy. That family isn't about blood, it's about love that refuses to give up. The room erupted in applause. Ethan felt tears spill freely down his face. For the first time in years, they weren't tears of grief, but of gratitude. Of course, life wasn't perfect. There were still nights when Lily struggled with pain. Times when Ethan felt overwhelmed trying to balance business, fatherhood, and his growing emotions. Because somewhere along the way, he realized, Lily had become more than a responsibility. She had become family. One evening, as they sat by the fireplace, Lily said quietly, I used to think being disabled meant my story would always be small. But you and Noah showed me, that love can make any story big. Ethan reached out, his voice thick. Your story made mine bigger, too. Years later, Lily went on to study social work, dedicating her life to helping abandoned and disabled children find homes. She became an advocate, speaking across the country about resilience, acceptance, and hope. And every speech she gave began the same way. Once upon a stormy night, a man told me, come with me. I didn't know then that he was leading me home, not just to a house, but to love. Ethan and Noah were always in the crowd, cheering her on. The message, life isn't fair. It breaks people, tests them, takes from them. But sometimes, in the darkest storms, kindness finds its way through, soft, unexpected, life-changing. Ethan had lost everything he thought mattered. Lily had been told she was nothing. But together, they discovered what true wealth meant, not money, but love, compassion, and second chances. And maybe that's the greatest truth of all. You don't have to have much to change someone's life. Sometimes, all it takes are 3 simple words, spoken with an open heart. Come with me.